And we should be live.
I get the fact that you and Doomcock are doing this thing where you work behind the
Live.
scenes to mess with the audience and everything, and that way you guys can make more money. But I think you're getting the raw end of the stick. Just tell Doomcock you want to be a part of the Fandom Menace, man. It's fine. When are we going live?
You know, one of these days people are going to think you're serious when you do that. I think Bird thought you were serious about the last one. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. So welcome everybody. And yes, that's going to be a thing now. Laura's just going to start every episode with something like that. Good to see you, Jordan. Access Radio. More goats for Yosef. Yes, indeed. Yosef needs more goats and more sheep. And so we definitely need to get the Goat and Sheep Fund, which, of course, in Slovakia, goats and sheep are currency. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we talked about that.
Yeah. And so Surstra's in the house. Jordan, greetings from Gorilla Family. Mike is here from Columbus, Ohio, out of hiding. Bradley is here. Indy is here. Laura is here. Amazing. Laura is here. Good catch, man. They didn't know you were still in the Phantom. Oh, wrong chat. What, dude?
And people are going to come back unironically and be like, I saw where he put that.
Yeah.
I saw he put that in there because on the internet, joking and irony is dead.
Yes.
It's gone.
And Eduardo Rodriguez Vasquez says, hello from California. How you doing, Eduardo? So, we got a few things to talk about. So, first and foremost, and I forgot to put it in the description, because we haven't talked about the Lower Decks finale as of yet. So,
which was pretty decent. I don't know that we talked about it in person either. Usually we talk a little bit about it in person.
So what were your thoughts on the finale? It did not go quite the way I was expecting, because I thought that the reason that Klingon ship did not engage in the battle in the episode before was because that was going to be the main plot. But no. Instead, we had a totally unrelated plot featuring the return of Sonia Gomez, which I thought was kind of cool. Although, I have to say, and this is...
Was it confirmed that it was Sonia first? Sorry.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying that.
It was her. And one thing that was kind of, and this is something that I think is really stupid, but it's because nobody in the military would ever do this, but and it's done this just for the sake of introducing her to the audience, is the way that Captain Freeman was like, oh, and I'd like you to meet my friend, Captain Sonia Gomez.
Oh, yeah.
Because she would say, this is Captain Gomez.
Right.
No, at no point would you say, Captain Sonia Gomez from that one episode of Star Trek The Next Generation,
Right. Well, it's kind of like as you know. I mean, sometimes people use as you know, but generally they don't, because if you know it, then there's no reason to say as you know.
Right. And the funny thing is, the way that Lower Decks is written, they could have easily done a thing, like if Mariner was on the bridge, she could have very easily, if she all they had to do is have Freeman say, oh yeah, this is my friend Captain Gomez, and have Mariner go, oh, I remember you, that was totally badass, the way you just spilled hot chocolate on Captain Picard and got away with it.
Right.
Right. That's all they had to do.
Or just have one of the characters have no idea too. They could have had like Tendi or whatever, not know.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were a couple of problems technically with it. It was fine. I don't think it was like a bad episode necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
A couple things didn't make sense. Like when the ship, the Excelsior, the hell was it? The Excel Sovereign or whatever the hell?
Yeah.
Sovereign.
Yeah, the Excel Sovereign is
yeah. When that loses power, everyone there should be dead. Because at that point, they've lost inertial dampeners, and the
ship was tumbling. Yeah.
Yeah, the ship's tumbling. Everybody should be dead. They shouldn't be able to stay on the ground or
Yes.
anything like that. I don't know. Again, I thought it was interesting getting rid of the plating to go save the day. The only other thing I really didn't like was the ending. It was very 1990s. It's okay to have a season finale and it actually end the season, not
Mhm.
lead into a new one. You know, I don't know. What do you think about all that?
Well, the very end, I actually kind of liked in the fact that they drug the captain off in chains, because I like the fact that because I was like wondering, well, wait a minute, I guess they're just not doing anything with the Packlid thing.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, that's the whole ending, though, and that may come back into it. Maybe the guy comes back and says, "No, it wasn't her." You know what I'm saying?
well, no, but I mean the fact that they drug her off in chains, so now the next season is going to have to start off with them working to prove Captain Freeman's innocence.
Right. Which that's where the Klingons could come back in. That ship could
Right.
come back in.
And that's what I'm thinking is that the crew of the say the name of the ship.
I don't know. This is Sovereign. It wasn't
No, the ship that Captain
the
Freeman.
Cheritos.
Did you
The
say
Tritos?
did you say the
Cheritos?
Sheratos?
The Cheritos. Yeah.
Oh,
It's like
so that's a new name for it now.
the Cheritos.
Yeah. So the Sheratos, so the Sheratos will now have to go to Klingon space to try and track down that bird of prey
Right.
to in order to prove the captain's innocence. And they may start out by trying to track down those Vulcans.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so they could go and depending on what they want to do, and we don't know what's going on with Mike McMahon and whether or not he has a plan. I'm assuming that a season 3 has been greenlit, and they may have a season long arc for this.
Right.
You know?
Well, he's usually kept things together.
Right.
So they have actually approved a season 3 for Lower Decks.
Okay.
I wish they hadn't left it on. I hate when they do that. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. So she effectively destroyed the planet Packled, or someone did.
Right. Well,
With a,
remember, the
Peruvian-
Packlids did not know that you could only use a bomb once.
Right. Yeah. It stopped working. Or stopped going, or
And so, yeah, I gotta say, I know that the Packlids are not that dumb, but I still enjoy it.
yeah.
I don't care. I just think they're fun. And Squidward says, I think they specifically say the inertial dampers were out. Well, yeah, then they should all be dead. Because
Yeah.
at the rate that ship was spinning, except for the people that were like right in the middle of that ship, they'd pretty much be dead.
Well, yeah, I mean, if inertial dampeners ever fell, because as fast as the ship goes,
Right.
all of a sudden, it's like the most dangerous. In fact, there was a DS9 episode where all the Jem'Hadar were killed because the inertial dampeners, and they were literally stuck to the ceiling
Right.
because of it. Yeah, again, I think there was a couple of issues. How'd you feel about them removing the armor and stuff like that? Like that as a...
That seemed a little weird to me, as to, I mean, why the tech where the magic rocks wouldn't. I get it that that's typical Star Trek jargon. Like, I could see that happening in a TNG or Voyager episode. But it still didn't make a lot of sense to me. But at the same time, it seemed to fit into a Star Trek scenario.
Right. Yeah.
So, on the one hand, did I like it? No. But did I think it fit Star Trek? Yes.
I thought it was interesting how Shax was ready to fight as soon as they were also about to take her away. Or
Yeah.
Whatever. I wondered where they would go with that. Like if Shax was going to physically assault them, they can't exactly leave or anything.
That would have been awesome.
the ship can't go to warp because that was a part of it. It's like we're not going to be able to go to warp without the outer skin of the
So, and I
vessel.
wonder, does that mean Sonia Gomez is going to help them next season?
Yeah, that could be interesting. I don't know. Do you think they're going to bring the Vulcan on?
I think that's a possibility because, like, the way that's the question. Like, how much of this was thought out in advance?
Right.
And so, depending on how much they were thinking ahead of time, we could see them. Like, remember that Vulcan's punishment was going to be to have to work with humans. So, if they're trying to track down the Vulcan ship, then that Vulcan, the one with the goatee that's about to punish her anyway, could be like, "Oh yes, we'll send you our special representative," and then send him her,
Right.
you know. And then she goes with them, and then they go to track down the Klingon ship, and then he goes with them, and then they all go to track down that Pakled ship to try and prove that there's no way that the Cerritos or the what did you call it? Sheridan?
The Sheridan?
The Sheridan. Okay, the Sheridan didn't bomb the planet Pakled.
Right.
Or Pakled planet.
Do you think it was one of the Klingons, or do you think they were just stupid? The Pakleds?
Well, you see, that could go either way. And so, because the Pakleds could be dumb enough to have done it by accident. But, and then what about the fact that they did, in fact, uncover a plan for the Pakleds to bomb Earth? I would presume that they reported that.
Well, they specifically went out of their way that they had said they had to stop. They had to talk to Starfleet Command.
Right.
So
didn't they report that they had, that the
well,
Pakled...
what I'm assuming Starfleet Command is going to do is some idiot is going to be like, you've had all of these bad experiences with the Pakled, so of course you would want to destroy them, right? They almost destroyed your ship once.
Mm-hmm.
You had to deal with them. You had to fight them like multiple times. That's what I'm assuming.
And then are we going to see Riker come in again?
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Riker right now. I redid an episode where he was poorly written, a real idiot. So,
which are you talking about? An episode of Lower Decks?
No, Hollow Pursuits, TNG.
Oh well, yeah. Well, just rewatch his appearances on Lower Decks, and you feel better about him.
Yeah, that's all. I'm sure. It'd be interesting. You think they're going to give him a series?
I don't know,
Given
but
how popular he is.
I would love to just make him a regular on Lower Decks. Just like have him randomly show up and start talking about jazz licks. I mean,
it's just an ongoing joke that he finds a way to get onto the to be in the episode.
Yeah,
he just happens to be there. I mean, he's so popular. I wouldn't be in. It could be a good idea to do a TNG style series with him, like the Titan.
I would love to see him do it. I would.
And then, I know you want Boimler on there too. I don't think they do that.
Well, the other Boimler is supposedly on the Titan.
Right. I don't think they'd commit to it.
Why not?
Why wouldn't the other Boimler? Because he's got other stuff to do.
Like what?
I don't know. I'm not his personal assistant, but I would generally that doesn't work out.
What better thing could there possibly be than to star in an awesome Star Trek series?
I don't know. For someone as rich as they are, probably a lot of things that they could do. Well, and the only other problem too is I guess they'd have to. I don't know how you do it because they look old too. That's a problem.
Oh, Boimler doesn't look old.
Well, yeah, but Deanna Troi and...
You don't have to bring Deanna Troi in.
She's a part of the Titan. She serves...
So you just always write in that she's cooking dinner.
That could work.
That you could just write that into every episode, that she's just always trying to cook some traditional Betazoid dinner.
And we just don't even comment on the fact that they look older than...
Why bother?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think there's a reason you and me probably don't write for Trek these days.
You know, just say that she was in a shuttle and the inertial dampeners failed.
Boom, done. And then she's in a coma
Yeah.
for the entire series. That's part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. It would be fun to see the USS Titan. I guess unless they wanted to pay a lot of money to de-age them and the actors were willing to play, they could do another cartoon.
Well, I'd say that we don't even need to do a cartoon. You just leave Troy out of it. You just make, or you just have her always in her quarters. Like, not now, Will. I'm eating ice cream. That could be like the only thing she ever does. And in fact, that's what they do. They de-age her for one shot eating ice cream.
Oh, you know what they do?
And,
Yeah, because there are episodes where she's eating cake and ice cream in TNG.
There you
They
go.
just use those scenes. They don't even de-age her. It just cuts to those scenes where she's eating it.
See?
Every time. And with rotoscoping, you could just put her wherever you want her to.
And you just have, and then you just have him say, "Man, honey, you have not aged a day."
Exactly. I'm liking where you go with this.
See? And besides, it's not like continuity has ever been a thing with that couple. It's just I never kissed you with the beard except for the 17 times that I have.
Right. Yep.
It works.
I like it. I like where it's going. So, let's do it. You think Kurtzman would hire us?
You know what? Who cares? We'll fire him.
We'll fire him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's been fired quite a few times, so.
Yeah, according to some people.
Who specifically?
I don't know. Your version of hell, Married to Marina Sirtis. That would definitely be a version of hell, but my true version of hell would be Married to Lore Reloaded.
Why wouldn't you want to be married to Marina Sirtis?
Well, I said my true version of hell would be being married to you.
I know that. You said it was a version of hell. What about her is hellacious, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask.
Because I find her annoying.
Oh, okay. Is there anything she does specifically that's annoying, or is it?
Yes,
like
she screams like a harpy.
Okay, when has she screamed? Are you talking about like is she doing something on Twitter or what?
Yeah, her whole Star Trek is for liberals only crap. It would be like being married to a female version of Steve Shives. No, thank you. I just don't like that kind of holier than thou attitude.
And what does this female version of Steve Shives? Hold on, let's not discount anything. What's the female version of Steve Shives look like?
Marina Sirtis.
Oh.
Except the only difference is she doesn't have a beard, which.
Kurtzman $5.
Like
oh, thank you.
Start Tuesday.
Kurtzman just donated $5. Says I'm hired. I start Tuesday. Awesome.
Well, then there you go. Done. She's aged all right.
I'm not saying she's physically hideous. It's not that. It's just that I think that her attitude is just one that I find repulsive.
What I'm saying is that if I'm going to be married and having copulous relations with female Steve Shives, I do expect them to look a certain amount of attractivity. It's going to have to happen.
Well, I don't want to picture you and Steve Shives getting it on.
Well, it depends. Like Nicole DeBoer, who played Ezri Dax, she doesn't age. I think she's a vampire.
I don't want to think about you and Ezri Dax getting it on.
Well, I do.
Well, fine. You can think about that all day long if you want to. But that's a vision I don't need. Thank you.
Okay. Apparently, Marina Sirtis hates Texas.
Yeah, she does apparently, but then again, so does half the actors from Trek. Tim Russ hates Texas now.
So here's a quick story about Tim Russ. I think you'll appreciate. So I went to Full Sail University. I graduated from there, right? So the
Bird of Prey 5 wants you to stay away from Nicole. He paid for her first. That is true.
that broke me. The outplacement person for Full Sail University, because the thing about Full Sail University, it's a private university, and so all of the people that work there, like literally everybody that worked there, apparently came from the industry. That's a requirement. And so the outplacement person, she was talking to me, and I wasn't going anywhere, but they still had to do the interview or whatever. She's like, Tim Russ was my friend, and I actually worked on Voyager a little bit, so I'm going to reach out and tell him about your channel. And I was like, no, I'm okay, thank you though. I appreciate, as much as I want you to show Tim Russ my channel, I don't think that it would be a good match. So I appreciate it though.
Yeah, that would be a very bad idea. That would end their friendship, I think.
Yeah, I was like, don't get behind me, because she hadn't looked at my stuff, but she's like, what do you do or whatever, and I explained it to her, and she's like, oh, I know Tim Russ. We should make that connection. No, Tim Russ would not appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah. Anyway. Why do we get on that tangent? I don't even know.
You wanted to marry Tim Russ.
I don't. What are you talking about?
I support whatever you want to do, man. I get it.
And
we can talk about Steve
worst
Bannon.
Version of hell waking as Marina Sirtis.
Okay. Y'all really hate women on this channel.
I don't even understand. Well, no, I don't.
You got Bird paying for women, and then saying being women.
Bird paid. Well, Nicole is the woman that plays Esri Dax.
Right.
And so Bird paid her on that Cameo service to do an intro for his live streams.
Oh, well, did you copy that from me, Bird? Did you see that one Cameo I paid for her to do for me?
Oh, did you actually have her do one for you?
Yeah. Bird stole that idea from me, yo. Yeah, I had her and then Tom Paris, the guy who played Tom Paris. And it was basically what you and me did with the Gaming Heretic, but except I paid and they didn't do it for free. Where they start out saying they love it, and then they act like they turned off the camera but didn't, or they don't know that's still rolling, and talk about how horrible the channel is.
Well, there you go. Sorry, Bird. Laura says he did it first.
Now I have more subscribers, so obviously I'm the one that did it first.
Yeah.
Obviously. Either that or I stole it from you. I'll still take credit for it. Yeah. I didn't know you had done it, Bird. But yeah, I did that. I actually I also got the the guy who did who was Control. I forget his name. He was the Section 31 agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he declined to do the exact same thing for me. Like, of those three, he's not the one that I would expect it to.
Yeah, because he's like the big name in Trek.
That's what I was saying.
The guy that appeared in one season of Discovery, he's too big for you.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was like, really? Have you ever done you did Cameo. You did for Kuroga. I remember that.
Yeah, I did the dude that did Fry on Futurama for Bird when he was sick.
Right.
But I've never done anything for myself, really.
Well, technically, I don't think you're. When I did it, and I don't know how Bird of Prey set it up, but when I did it, it's not supposed to be for commercial purposes or whatever. Right. I don't know if they've changed that or anything, but yeah, it's like, this is only for non-commercial purposes. I was like, yeah, it's definitely for it's not going on a YouTube channel at all. Why would you even ask that?
I don't know. And let's see. Squidward says, worstest version of hell, having to eat the entire Deanna Troi cake every day for the rest of your life.
You have a very chauvinist, LGBT channel, man.
How's that anti-LGBT?
No, I'm just saying that's part of it.
How is that part of it?
You're cis hetero white, you're fine here, but I mean beyond that, it's
wow. Okay. Alex says, admit it, Salty, you envy her raven locks, would switch places in a heartbeat. Not really. And Alex says, my version of hell, trapped in an endless trailer park inhabited by Deliverance-styled hicks. Oh, so trapped in Lore Reloaded's house.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So yeah. Malfi says, I'd say your worst version of hell is being married to Bird of Prey 5 and trapped in Karoga forever. That would definitely be pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Squizgar says, I don't hate women. My best friend's a woman. So, which is always a good defense. People use that all the
Wow.
time.
All right, we need to change the subject.
Am I making you mad? Are we about to go?
We just need to change the subject. All right, so what else were we talking?
No, I apologize if I made you upset.
No, you didn't make me upset. You're just being stupid.
I am being stupid. That is correct.
All right, so.
Oh, your dog's upset.
No, that's not my dog. That's the wife's. My dog is being very. See, she's right here. She's being very.
Chilling.
She's very chill right now. That's my wife's dog, who is spazzing out because the wife is home.
Bird of Prey 5. I don't hate women. My mom's a woman.
Yeah,
which some people's moms aren't women, so that's saying something in these days.
Yeah. Let's talk about how this episode was the first time we saw cetacean, however you say it.
Thirsty dolphins that wants people to swim naked with.
Not dolphins.
Whatever.
Beluga whales.
They weren't whales.
They actually were.
I don't believe.
No dorsal fins.
Let's go take a look.
They were beluga whales. Check Memory Alpha, buddy. You know that's where you get all your information anyway.
Yeah, you know it is. You caught me. Got him.
So look up Matt. That is the name of the beluga whale.
So first off, Memory Alpha doesn't always get it right, but now you just got me curious.
No, it is.
Like how
we all laugh because you know how much Life with Matthew hates dolphins.
Right. Well, and of course I know you guys are doing that rewatch too. So have you started the rewatch of Tess?
Not yet, no.
Oh, okay.
So,
let's see. Let me go back and now you just got me curious. But I mean, how'd you like the fact that they were like insanely thirsty?
Well, it's just land or sea mammals for you.
It's just what they do. It's who they are.
Yeah.
Where is? Now I can't see them. Did they not have any dorsal?
They did not have dorsal fins.
How the hell did I miss that? So here's a question: do you think at Wolf 359?
And yes, Project Achievia, I will be reviewing Discovery Season 4, so prepare to see me lose a few blood vessels.
Do you think Wolf 359 there was any assimilated whales or dolphins?
I do.
You do?
Yes. I think that at the bottom of that Borg cube, there's like dolphins and beluga whales swimming around with Borg implants.
That's the waste though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where all the Borg there's like the Borg waste, and then there's a layer of water where they're swimming.
What do you think they would do? Yeah, they don't have that, do they? Huh. What do you think they would do though with the cetacean ops? Well, first off, why are you making cetacean ops with controls they can't access? But beyond that, what do you think the Borg would do with cetacean ops? Like if they're assimilating the
They
ship.
wouldn't assimilate them. They would just destroy them.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're still sentient beings and stuff, but
yeah, but the Borg. Keep in mind that the Borg, because chances are, if the Borg found a species where their biological structure was simply not compatible with their technology, because, like, let's say, like a Horta, right? Mm-hmm. They would just destroy them, because what would be the point in adapting their technology to a diverse biosphere on a cube?
Right.
It wouldn't make sense. It makes much more sense to have a homogeneous work population and be able to generalize everything.
Right.
And so that fits the Borg philosophy better. And plus, you have the Borg incubators to make more Borg babies.
Right. God, that's so dumb. Yeah, I was curious how'd you feel about that? I liked it. I thought it was fun. I don't know why again they made them like required thirsty or anything like that. I do like where they save him, and it's like he's not breathing, his blowhole's broken. Thought that was hilarious, and keep him moist to save him. I thought that was funny.
That was funny. But yeah, the fact though that the one was named Matt was just too funny.
Right.
Since Matthew hates sea mammals. Theory: Borg Queen has a dolphin butler named Mr. Slapper Splasher. That's an interesting theory. I don't think it quite holds water. See what I did there?
Yeah, seriously, folks, we'll be here all night.
No, just for another 20, 30 minutes. But just.
Well, if we keep on these topics, we'll be here for like 2 hours.
Well, that's true, but.
So dumb. I hate. We already talked about it, but I was really disappointed with the Discovery season 4. I get it. Discovery is specifically the action pack. That's where people, because what they really are and what they're really leaning into is every Trek series is a different experience, and so Discovery is the action packed and universe ending one that you go to. I hate that because I really, really think there is a great opportunity to tell a good story about returning the Federation to what it once was.
Right, that would be a good story.
But yet again, they're not going to do that.
No. They're just going to gloss over that and say, "Oh yeah, the Federation's back. Oh no, the universe is going to end."
That's how they start. That's the opening captain's log. The Federation has been completely restored. The communications arrays have been fixed, and the Federation now has its 350 members.
We've restored not only all 350 member worlds, but we're up to 5,000 worlds now.
I mean, how lazy would that be? Oh man. Every season on Discovery, the universe almost ends. That is correct. That is where they go.
Well, no, season 1, just the Federation almost. Well, no, actually, I take that back because the mycelial network almost ended the entire universe, so I forgot about that.
Well, that's true. That's true because
they really did almost end the universe in every season. That's just stupid.
Well, that's what it is. They got really lucky in that one that they went to the mirror universe accidentally to discover evil Stamets was destroying the universe, so they got lucky on that one. Well, the good book has stated that no one knows the day or I'm sorry. When you said book, I was actually thinking you meant book from Discovery. Yeah, hopefully they lean into that so far. Hopefully they lean into it so far they fall down. That's not going to happen. Discovery has its fan base that really likes what they do with it, and I think it'll be fine. I do wonder, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last season, but that's just so they can open up other seasons to do other stuff. But I don't know. We'll have to see.
You think they're going to do more?
I don't know, because I swear to God, there was talk from official sources that said Discovery was going to be only 3 seasons. I can't find it anymore, but I've talked to other people who have said they heard that too, but I can't find it officially. I do think they're coming towards the end of Discovery, though. I won't be surprised.
Well, I thought the ending of last season felt like it should have been the ending.
I think it would have been a good ending for Discovery, for sure. Well, as good as ending for Discovery can be. But yeah, I think that would have been, a hopeful ending. Like they're going to restore everything and bring it back, but it's not to be, good sir. It's not to be.
And multi-gunmen, don't underestimate the power of storytelling that you just don't happen to like. Because I know it's easy to assume that nobody likes Discovery just because nobody likes Discovery.
Yeah, every channel you go to hates it. I mean, there's just too much evidence to show that it's popular.
Right.
To enough people to keep it going. I honestly, and again, we've talked about this. YouTube is a special, YouTube, Twitter, it's all a special sphere. It's not what is reflective of the whole, like by any stretch of the imagination. And I would say that YouTube specifically is a bad indicator for if Trek is doing well or not, just given how biased it leans. Just like I'd say that for Twitter too, just in the opposite direction.
Well, yeah, the funny thing about it is if YouTube was your sample, then you would think that Discovery was the ultimate failure, right? Mm-hmm. But if Twitter was your sample, you would think that Discovery was the ultimate success.
Right. It saved Trek. I think that it's successful enough that it continues on. Probably actually makes quite a bit of money for them. But I won't be surprised if they ended to open up other series, because I think that's the whole plan. I think they're just going to continue hopscotching. That's what anybody does, right? They ring it until it stops making money.
Right.
And then they end it because that's where it naturally would end. Kind of like Did you ever watch The Office?
I did not. Okay. And Jordan, I can tell you, as far as the highlight, I can tell you that one did highlight.
What are we talking about?
Well, he was asking if the names have to match exactly. Generally, yes.
Right. Yeah, like mine, I think you have to have the space. I don't think if you don't. I think if you do just straight Lore Runner, it doesn't, or Lore Reloaded, whoever the hell I am.
Right. And Multi-Gunman, and sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to say, it's you don't need to do personal attacks against those that like it. I don't particularly, because even me and Lore Reloaded disagree as to the relative quality of Discovery. He thought that season 3 was better than I thought it was, but I'm not, even though I think that Discovery has been a pile of hot garbage, there are people that think it's a great show, and I'm not going to say that they're a bad person or even a dumb person just because they liked a show I didn't like. And so it just means they liked a show I didn't like.
I mean, we mostly agree on Discovery, though. We mostly think that all of it is like trash. I just think that season 3 was actually, most of it was actually Trek. Right. It was a lot better than previous. It's not a Lower Decks. It's not a DS9. I wouldn't even say it's a TNG. Might be a TNG season 1, season 2.
I would go there. I would say TNG season 1, season 2. Sure.
But I still think there were moments in there that were very Trek, very, very Starfleet. But yeah, for the most part, I hated season 1. I did not like season 2. I don't know if you've ever done this, but like for me, usually when I go back and I rewatch something after a couple of years, it's not as bad as I remember it, or it's not as good. So if I really liked it, it's not as good. If I really hated it, it's not as bad. I was doing a rewatch for a video I was doing. I was like, man, I still don't like this. This is still really bad. Yeah. It's the only one I know that's ever done that.
I have not done a rewatch of Discovery lately, but I've been planning on rewatching Discovery before season 4 starts. Multi-Gunman says that was a joke. I didn't mean to insult. Well, let me just say that. I get that, but I want to make sure, the reason I call it out is not to be mean to you, but to make sure that if somebody that's not a part of our community happens to stumble across this live stream 6 months from now, and they see that comment on the replay, and they just see me just, just ignore it, they're going to think, oh yeah, they're totally cool with that kind of rhetoric. No, I'm not. I want to make sure people understand that we're not trying to say the people that like the show are bad people. We're just saying we think the show sucks. And there's a difference between those two statements. And I know you're a good person, Multi-Gunman. I know you don't mean that everybody that likes Discovery is a bad person. But if I don't call it out, then it reflects bad on me. That's all. And Squidward, let me say, wants to ask an interesting question. Do we think that the Ferengi Goblin in the season 4 trailer is part Ferengi, or are they trying to redesign the Ferengi? What do you think?
Well, two things. So first off, the Multi-Gunman thing. I have lost the ability to tell when someone's joking with stuff like that and not. So
it is hard.
And yeah, I just like countering it or saying it. And like, even if you were being truthful, I wouldn't have thought that you were insulting anyone. I just thought that you're jaded about it more than anything else. That's the way I take it. As for the Ferengi, man, I don't even think it's the Ferengi Goblin. I think that's unfair. I
like that. I gotta say, that's a funnier name than the Klingork, though. Come on.
It is. Oh yeah. I think that's just a redesign, and honestly, it's not even the worst redesign I've ever seen. I mean, if you want to see something crazy, you should have seen, if you've ever, and it's a little known series with Trek, but the original series, the actual series like that first came out. If you watch that versus the movies, what they did with the Klingons, oh, don't even get me started. The Klingon.
Oh, it's a
movies,
radical
oh,
change.
dude. They strapped and just taped just this huge piece of plastic to their forehead when it was smooth beforehand. I mean, just disgusting. Disgusting.
But, the funny thing is, that is the most radical change to any species that was ever made, was the Klingons from TOS to TMP. And nobody cared.
Yep.
And the reason we didn't care was because those of us that were alive back then just figured, oh, cool, so this is what they were supposed to look like.
Right. Well, and I think that is why a lot of people don't get upset about that all that much. And it's fair enough to say they didn't have the resources, and so they decided to go ahead and do it. I just don't think that I'm seeing. Give me a second, okay? I just don't think that the Ferengi specifically is just that big of a deal. I don't know. It's a Ferengi. You can see it's a Ferengi. They just did their twist on it. I don't know.
So Jordan says he directed a comment at you to ask if you could start listing your live streams.
So if I had live streams that were consistent, I would definitively do that for you. I can say when we start doing the rewrites, those will be on Sunday. Tuesdays and Sundays are the only streams that I have consistently.
$1.
There you go.
Savor the fruit of
you got
life,
something
my young
for the
friends. It
Yes,
has a sweet
Cora,
taste when
thank
it
you
is
very
fresh from
much.
the vine, but don't live too long. The taste turns bitter.
What was he saying?
After a
So
time,
it's I was letting the automatic voice finish reading. It says, savor the fruit of life, my young friends, as a sweet taste when it is fresh from the vine, but don't live too long. The taste turns bitter after a time. In other words, when you get old, life sucks.
That's right. Do you get the reference?
Yeah, that was from Deep Space Nine.
It was, yep. Well, I didn't know, because you're not a huge DS9 aficionado.
I'm not a huge DS9 aficionado, but I am a huge DS9 fan. It's my second favorite Trek series.
I thought you didn't like it.
No,
Like,
I love
not-
DS9.
No, I mean, well, when I say didn't like, I meant relatively. I thought it was not.
It is
like
there's like TOS is like, we gotta keep my hand in frame. So TOS is like here, Deep Space Nine is like here, right?
Right.
And then all the rest of Trek is like down here.
Okay.
And so to me, TOS and Deep Space Nine are way above and beyond everything else.
Okay.
That's the good stuff. And so let's see.
Jordan says, look how much humans have changed in 800 years, and who's to say the Ferengi didn't crossbreed with other species? Can I tell you the most dumbest thing that I heard? This is getting a little off topic, but on Twitter, because of course, it's like some people were saying, I don't think we should say that the Ferengi look different because of getting with other species, because it leads to eugenics and breeding certain species out of existence.
Okay.
Like, that was a fear. Twitter is wild, man. I don't suggest it for anybody. It's not
first of
where normal
all,
people should go.
if because the funny thing is, and this is just a fact with Trek, is that the use of species is actually incorrect in Trek, because since they can all crossbreed, they're actually different races.
Right.
And so you could make the argument, just like with different races of dogs, right? When you have like German Shepherds versus Chihuahuas versus Golden Retrievers, that if you crossbreed them too much, then you could crossbreed a particular breed out of existence.
Right.
And that's not a good or a bad thing. That's just a fact.
Right.
And I think the problem is that people think that as a moral good or bad. That's where the problem becomes. Like somehow if if you crossbred the last pug out of existence, that is a moral good or a moral evil.
Right.
And when in actuality, no, it just means that particular genetic mix no longer exists. That's all it means.
Right. And to get back on topic a little bit, when talking about the Ferengi specifically,
Yeah.
it's something that's really that just really, I guess, has made me chill about all this is I don't think that this trek is really necessarily made for me, and so I just don't get as passionate about it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they'd have to go really, really out of their way to get me pretty angry or
Yeah.
get me like stupid. Like if they did the thing we said, like if they did a Pike and Spock. I don't want to say that on your channel. I was going to say Pikoke is what I was going to say. But if they did something like that, I think that would probably inspire a video. But stuff like the Ferengi just doesn't. It's just whatever, you know?
It's, to me, it's like, I do think that the makeup is just kind of weird. I'm more interested in what's the story going to be.
Right.
Is it going to be any good? That's what I'm more concerned with.
Do I think that's older Nog? No, Nog would
It's
be
the 32nd century. Old. There's no way that could be older.
Yeah, Nog would be 900 years old.
You're right.
I don't think that they're that old. And if they lasted that long, he looks too young for 900 years old. The problem is the precedent it sets. If they do later make Trek for you, it will more be like there's no evidence of that. So every time there's a new generation of Trek, they change stuff up. So there's really no evidence that that's what would happen, right? So I'm not concerned about that. And if they wrote it really well and they made it for me and the Ferengi looked like that, I'd be fine.
Quark, son of Kelda Wandala.
I think.
You're not exactly the most lovable person in the galaxy.
And
you're not even the most lovable person in this sector, or on this station, or even in this room.
I remember that quote.
That's from House of Quark, I believe. And remember when Quark married the Klingon chick,
right?
And so when the female, I think was that a line that Quark said to the because.
I only vaguely remember. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I love that episode, but I'm not good with quoting all the lines.
The Ferengi. So there's two types of episodes in DS9 that are the weakest, and so I don't watch as much and may even skip sometimes. That's the Mirror Universe.
I hate the Mirror Universe episodes.
Yeah, and most of the ones that focus on the Ferengi.
Really?
I like the Ferengi. I like Quark. I like Rom. I like Nog. I love Nog. I think he's a great character arc. But like the ones that focus just kind of go too comedic or silly for me in a lot of instances. And so I'll skip them for the most part. So if it's a B plot or a secondary plot, but if it's about them.
I see. I like the Ferengi stuff. I just don't like I do not like the Mirror Universe stuff, and I do not like anything having to do with the Pa Wraiths. The whole Pa Wraith thing, huh?
Is it because they remind you of Satan?
No, I just think they're stupid.
Oh, okay.
I think that I'm sorry, but the whole idea of Gul Dukat getting plastic surgery to look like a Bajoran and then sleeping with Kai Wynn to get to the secret Bajoran information so that he can basically become a devil worshiper and get the secret fire cave info and just come on. You know
Yeah.
that whole storyline was just so messed up.
Well, I mean, the finale was, I think we talked about this, like 30 minutes too long.
The finale, yeah,
it really should have ended with them winning the war and then watching all of them leave, you know?
Yeah. And the Mirror Universe, the problem with the Mirror Universe stuff, Multi-Gunman, it's not just that it was a little weak, it's that it wasn't the Mirror Universe. It wasn't the Mirror Universe at all, and it's something that there's the only times that we got to see the Mirror Universe was in Mirror Mirror and in A Mirror Darkly. Every other time, it wasn't really the Mirror Universe. It was an alternate timeline. And because there's a difference between a mirror universe and an alternate timeline. In a mirror universe, which is what it's supposed to be, everything happens in a mirror method. And in fact, like McCoy even mentions, like when he's looking around sickbay, that there's a spot on the table where he remembers spilling acid. But there's also a bunch of other stuff that's all screwy.
Right.
Because everything happens, but it happens in the opposite way. It's not just that, oh, something triggered an alternate history. It's these two timelines are these two universes are connected.
Right.
But in Deep Space Nine, all of a sudden we have a completely divergent timeline.
Right.
And so what
they didn't need to, too. I mean, you could have easily. So what they really leaned into was the Spock saying that the whatever couldn't survive or last or whatever.
Right, and so they just played that out to like the Empire fell.
But what they really had an opportunity, like have like the Dominion War inversed, like the Deep Space Nine is under Terran control.
Right, and the Dominion's trying to free them.
Right, and the Dominion is just you could have the Dominion if you wanted to, or it just not be the Dominion. It's the alliance of all the other aliens, you know, and just have just the reverse of that. It's so silly that they had to, I don't know, enslave all of humanity and have Avery Brooks act really weird.
Yeah. And yeah. And then have yeah, just nothing about it seemed right.
Right, and that's why it just, yeah, again, it made no sense, and like even logically, like the defeat of the of Worf somehow wins the day, and they've now reformed the good Terran Empire or whatever, and just one battle and defeating of the capital ship is not going to matter all that much against another vast empire. I even forget what they were called. What was it? The Klingon Union or something like that, or the Klingon
something
Alliance?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think one battle is going to mean very much in the end. But speaking on that, did you catch how Discovery tried to fix that error, specifically that it didn't mirror itself anymore?
What with the gigantic flagship and the mycelial megasphere?
No, that's not how they fixed it. They tried to fix it in season 3.
No, remind me.
So when the eyeglasses guy, the glasses man, and Georgiou are having their back and forth, he says that the mirror universe and the Prime universe, were moving away from each other, and they had been moving away from each other for a long time, and that was an attempt to fix why the universe was so different.
Wasn't it because of the incident that happened because of Nero?
Yeah, or something like that. But he actually mentions that. He's like,
they've been separating ever since 2009, basically. Yeah.
He didn't say 2009, but yeah,
I mean since Star Trek 2009, since that incident.
No, I knew what you meant. I was just saying he wasn't like Star Trek 2009. He did give a little bit off.
That would have been awesome if he said, "Yeah, ever since Star Trek 2009 came out, The universes have been. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was an attempt to fix and be like, that's why they're divergent now or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darth Maul says the universes became more distant.
Yeah, which is stupid.
Yeah, it's fun to have like a mirror universe and just see what would happen if most of the good guys are the bad guys. I think that's an interesting concept.
Right. But the mirror universe for Discovery, Michael Burnham would just be a blithering idiot, right?
And somehow actually fail.
Yeah.
As a blithering idiot. Well, no, she'd be highly intelligent and fail because I think she's a blithering idiot in season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be fun. They never do that, but yeah, Mirror Universe Burnham is really competent, but never
always
succeeds.
fails. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. She'd basically be Boimler from season 1 of Lower Decks.
You think they're going to bring back Lorca? They've been taught. Well, they can't because it's now in the 30th century.
Well, they could do a Buck Rogers on him.
They could do Strange New Worlds too. They could bring him back in Strange New Worlds.
That's true too.
I don't know. Do you want to see Lorca? I liked the actor, and if they brought Lorca back and Lorca was like the Lorca we had before, just a good guy, I think that would be a boon.
That would be, but I don't see it happening. Because first of all, he's a captain, so there's no room for another captain.
Right. Well, they could have him as like a guest star. He's on there for like they did with Pike, who's just comes on for a specialized mission or something.
Sure, but I mean, they could do that on Strange New Worlds. Or they could do something where they, like I said, they could Buck Rogers him into the 32nd century, which I think would be hilarious. Like if the whole cause of the universe ending anomaly is that Lorca has been sleeping for the last 900 years, and somehow
they find him on a planet or something.
It's because he's sleeping on a giant pile of kryptonite or something, and his snoring is doing it. Why not? If a Kelpian's temper tantrum on a giant pile of whatever that was can cause of dilithium, right? So a Kelpian temper tantrum on dilithium can cause all the dilithium to burn. How about Lorca snoring on a pile of kryptonite would cause gravity to go crazy?
Man, that is such a danger. So imagine, because they were in the nursery or whatever. Imagine if someone went in, for whatever reason, got near a reservoir of gas and they sneeze and it causes all engines that are active to explode. And then they figured out that's what it is, and they finally found more gas and stuff. But if anyone ever gets near a reservoir and sneezes, it's going to kill everyone.
Yeah, so your ultimate terrorist movement is to get near a reservoir of gas and take some snuff.
Right, because they never fix the issue with dilithium. It's just you go into a dilithium nursery and you have a temper tantrum and you can kill everybody.
But wait a minute. But then how is it that Scotty could have been the chief engineer? Because he was throwing temper tantrums all the time.
They never went to a nursery. They never went to a dilithium nursery.
Yeah, but he was near dilithium all the time throwing temper tantrums.
But it's in the nursery. You have to be in a nursery. You can't just be next to it. Both you guys, do you think Mike McMahon has poked fun at Kurtzman and Lower Decks, or has fandom read into things? I think he pokes fun at everything, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember anything specific.
Well, he has poked fun at Kurtzman a couple of times, like the fact that the guy in the Captain Pike wheelchair was Kurtzman.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was actually Kurtzman. And yeah, he's poked fun at Kurtzman a couple of times. But not as much as, he's poked fun of TNG the most. Mm-hmm. And TOS probably second.
And he even he made a evil robot CBS. He had the
Yeah,
CBS
he did
logo.
have the evil CBS. I think he just likes poking fun at things.
Well, and
Ham
I think it's
salad
on a format
$1.
that you can do
What
that.
Star Trek should have done was make a short series, 8 episodes,
And
one tense situation and a balance of terror or wrath of Khan, a Federation ship on the border of the zone, unsure of whether to cross over. A tense nail-biter.
so Ham Salad donated $1. Thank you, Ham Salad. But so say wants to make a short series of like 8 episodes of just a single tense situation, like a balance of terror, wrath of Khan. I would absolutely be down for that. But the problem, and Discovery absolutely could have been something like that, like not for season 1, but for like season 2. Like I think that season 1 of Discovery should have been the creation of the ship, the launch of the mission, exploration, blah, blah, blah. Season 2 could have been something like that, a singular mission along a neutral zone kind of thing or whatever. But unfortunately, what we got was, people crying and universe-ending threats and blah, blah, blah.
Man, you guys on the crying and so.
I thought the crying was annoying.
I know, people showing their feelings. Plus
It's not people showing their feelings that's annoying. It's people crying all the time. I don't mind people showing their feelings. It's people crying all the time.
I don't mind people showing their feelings. It's when those feelings are weak. It's when they're crying.
Kurtzman $2. No one makes fun of me. I am your god.
And Kurtzman says, no one makes fun of me. I am your god. Well, thank you for the $2, but you are definitely not my god, Mr. Kurtzman.
I mean, what if it's like he's come back to test all of us?
Well, he's still not God.
But he could be in God form, like to test us, to see how empathetic we could be.
No, Kurtzman would be more like the Antichrist.
Wow. Okay. What if he was the Antichrist? Would you be surprised?
No, not at all. No, I'd see, like with Kurtzman.
Been like, called it.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah. And so what else is new? No, I think Kurtzman. I mean, I don't hate the man, but I'm not a fan, obviously. I don't know him personally. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice guy on a personal level. It's on a professional level that I can't stand him. Just because of his creative choices as far as what he's done to Trek.
Would have been weird if you did know him. It's like, yeah, I talk to the dude every so often.
Yeah, actually, he happens. You don't know this, but he bought the house next door to us. And just,
Spice must flow.
Kurtzman, another
Kurtzman $2. You got me. It was I, Lucifer, the whole time.
See, another $2 for Kurtzman. It says you got me. It was me, Lucifer, the whole time. See, I told you, Lore. Kurtzman is Lucifer.
Gene didn't allow crying in the future.
They forgot Gene's rule. There was no crying in the future. Well, no, Gene's rule was that there would be no interpersonal conflict. But at Ham Salad with another $1. Thank you,
I
Ham
just
Salad.
like the idea of making it so every single shot
and
every hit counts, and 2 captains outsmarting each other. Small scale tension. It saves.
Now I don't know.
Star Trek in the
Could you
80s and
could
can
you
save
read
it
what
now.
that said from Ham Salad?
Oh, I got most of it. He said he likes it where every hit counts and every
Right.
it's small scale and stuff.
And I agree. And I think that that's where Trek excels. I think that making everything about some big universal thing is a mistake, because I think particularly with television or streaming, making it smaller, more intimate makes it more interesting. And that's something that unfortunately they haven't figured out.
Right. I mean, Lower Decks does it fairly well.
Yeah. Not everything on Lower Decks is the universe coming to an end.
Right, and I think TNG really highlights it for the most part. DS9 not so much because they had the Dominion War, but like in TNG, the things you remember that are terrifying is like best of both worlds. You know, the one with the bug aliens. Like, there were instances where it was world ending, but those were the exceptions, not the rules. You know,
Right.
usually it was at a local level. And I agree. I just, again, I think Discovery, that's what they want. They want action packed. In fact, when you go to the Reddit, and I don't know if we talked about this before, but when you go to the Reddit, it's all about, man, I really love how actiony Discovery is. I can't wait for the new. That's what they cultivate. You know?
Right. And the problem is, though, is that even though, like, even with episodes like Best of Both Worlds, it's not the fact that the Federation might fall that had people so excited. It's, will Picard survive? That was what had people. People were like, oh my gosh, Riker said fire and Picard is on the Borg cube.
Right.
That's what had people. Not, oh my gosh, the Borg cube is on its way to Earth.
Right.
And so people forget that. Episodes like Chain of Command, it was there are four lights. It was that Picard was being tortured.
Yeah.
You know, it was, you know, TNG's greatest moments were mostly centered around Picard. And just as a character.
Well, I do think that it was based. I think it was based on the characters, which is what made it so interesting. Which is why I've come around a little bit. I almost think that you have to have boring or bad first and second seasons. I think Lower Decks proved that you can do it without that. But generally, the first couple of seasons have to suck just so you can get invested in the characters. I really do believe that, because I think season 3 on for TNG and for DS9.
I don't think it's necessarily has to be boring or bad. I just think that you need to, because TOS managed to create their characters and get you invested fairly quickly. It's just that I think that what you really just need to do is focus on your characters. And I think that that's where they made their mistake in the first couple of seasons of TNG. They forgot to focus in on the characters, because with Gene's mandate of no interpersonal conflict, if there's no interpersonal conflict, you have no characters.
Right.
And so until the writers could figure out a way around that, then there was just no way to make the characters work. And you know what, Squidward, TOS may not resonate with you, but it resonated with a whole lot of other people, because you would not have TNG or any other Trek without it.
Most of them are dead now, aren't they? That it resonated with?
What?
I watched the original series.
So, some people who watched the original series are dead?
Most, that when it aired.
Wow, you're just mean.
It was pretty cruel, wasn't it?
I watched the original series when it aired.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, never mind then. You're a spring chicken.
Jeez. In fact, this Friday, we will be watching the first episode of Trek that I watched when it first aired.
Nice.
So, yeah, very special.
What year did it air?
1968.
Oh, cool.
So,
how old were you in 1968?
0.
And you watched it at the ripe old age of 0?
Yes, I was born in 1968.
And you watched it. You jumped out and were like, let's watch this.
Well, I didn't jump out and say, let's watch this. I was a few months old at the time.
And so you're just chilling out? Like, man.
Yeah, I will tell you my true story. My mom was a serious Trekkie. She was part of the letter writing campaign to get a third season. And she watched Trek when she was pregnant with me. And when season 3 started, I was a few months old, because I was born in April. Season 3 started a few months later in, what would it be, August or whatever. And so the first episode of season 3 was the first episode I watched outside of the womb. And so I watched all of season 3 when I was an infant. And my parents told me when I was little that because you know how babies are. You've had a couple, and so the funny thing is that when Star Trek came on, then they could sit me for that 1 hour. I was just like, bam, glued to the TV, no trouble whatsoever.
You just watch it.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, I give you a hard time, but you were born in 1968. I honestly forget that you were like born in the 60s.
Yeah. So Spock's Brain, I watched that. Yep.
But a funny thing you were talking about. All right, go to sleep, babe. Hey, tell your sister time for you guys to go to sleep. One of the things you were talking about, Lorelai, when she was like 3 or 4, she didn't watch like Star Trek 2009 when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
She was still really young, and when the stinger came on after the intro, like the growing of the music or whatever, she would stop and just instantly watch.
Ham
Like,
salad,
she
$1.
really
What made the original
loved the
series
Star
so
Trek
great was
music.
that the overacting, overdramatic moments actually helped sell the show when the effects got cheesy, but the characters, themes, and stories were more often than not so damn good they hold up.
I agree. Well, I don't think that I wouldn't even call it overacting as far as it was melodramatic. But that's just the style of acting from back then. You know,
I liked the latent love between Spock and Kirk personally.
whatever.
It looks so weird. I get it for the time period and everything, but from a 2021 standpoint, it looks so weird rewatching it.
Whatever.
You can't tell me it doesn't look weird. Like there's literally a scene where someone's massaging Kirk, and he turns around and he's confused. It's a woman. He thought it was Spock.
Right,
And he's
because it would be inappropriate for a woman to be touching him in such a way.
Yeah, so Spock giving him a massage, it's just fine. It's what as you do. I mean, you being in the military, you probably saw that a lot, where the executive officer was giving the commanding officer a massage on the bridge.
You obviously anyway. Hey, Darren, good to see you, buddy. I've heard the Navy submarines have windows now. I wouldn't.
So first off, there are naval submarines that have windows. I don't. There's submersibles that do. I don't know why that's confusing. And actually,
you really want to pick a fight with Darren about naval submarines?
Cold War era naval submarines.
Oh man, Darren, Laura's gonna pick a fight with you about submarines.
I'm not. But why do some photos of Cold Era war submarines look like they have windows? Because they did have a few windows. I assume you didn't watch my. I assume you didn't watch my.
You know, you got a couple
video.
of Navy guys in there, right? In the chat.
It's all right, because naval guys have never been wrong about anything. I understand.
Darren Wagner was in the submarine service.
Oh, which means he knows every submarine that ever existed. Darren, are you willing to say that? Say that on there for me. You know every submarine that ever existed. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, because you know every submarine that ever.
No.
Wait, no. So you know every submarine that ever existed.
He's a naval guy. I don't. I'm not a naval guy. But
right.
Darren,
so you know more about
knows
submarines
every
than.
naval submarine.
Wait. So you tried to say you know more than.
Let's wait and see if Darren knows every submarine that ever existed. I'm just waiting. And Chief Cook, the great thing about being on is that I don't have to be quiet. Now, he can kick me off if he wants to, and that'll quiet me, but I don't have to be quiet. You be quiet. The only U.S. naval submarines I'm aware of that had windows was the NR-1, which was an engineering. So hold on. Dearest. Oh my God, Salty Tracker. There was a submarine that had a window on it. Salty Tracker. It had a window. All right, we can move on. Thank you for saying that there was a naval submarine that had a window. Thank you. Darren, as you know, is the ultimate end all be all. So what else would you like to talk about?
Why did this even become a thing? Anyway.
I was trying to tell you, but then you got me into a fight
Okay.
with Darren. I didn't even have a problem with Darren, and all of a sudden you're picking a fight.
Why are you talking about windows on submarines?
I was trying to tell you why, and you interrupted
Okay,
me
so
on that.
go ahead. Why are you talking about windows on
did not watch
submarines?
my bridge breakdown video, which is fine if you did, but I'm assuming you did.
I have not yet, no.
Okay. So a lot of people...
I do enjoy your videos, so I just don't always get to them right away.
Man, I'm fine with lore thinking that submarines intended for combat have one. I love the straw man, man. I love it. I love being on this channel because I get a lot of
Will you shut up and
I get a
continue
lot
your
of
point?
cardio. I
No,
get so much
shut
cardio
up
on this
and just
channel,
continue your point.
running after those goalposts.
Will you
that
please
constantly
stop
move.
trying
I
to pick a
love it.
fight
It's
with the
so
audience
good.
and get on with your
It's
point?
so much.
Will you stop trying to pick a fight with the audience and just get to your point?
I was talking about how there were windows on starships when it comes to hit points, when it comes to the strength of the windows, can match the actual armor of what they had in the Trek universe, right? And people were saying, well, you know, submarines don't have windows or whatever. And so I come back and say, I actually did research. I'm not saying I'm as smart as Darren. No one's as smart as Darren when it comes to submersible. Everybody knows he's the god of...
Okay, shut up about Darren and just continue on.
But the research I did during the Cold War era, as well as in the current Navy, current different navies, there are submarines that have windows. I don't remember ever saying it was for combat. I don't remember that. Maybe I did, but I don't remember saying that. Just that there are submarines that had windows. And so I was like, some people said that the ships are like submarines and that they don't have windows. They're wrong. Some submarines do have windows. They just do. And if they could find a way to make the same kind of armor that Trek did, they'd probably do that with them too, is what I said. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Again, we'll have to ask Darren. I got to go get my knee pads for Darren to make sure that...
Will you shut up about Darren? Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. So... Anti-Trekker, I don't want this thing to get flagged and you get shut down for misinformation or fake news. Chief Cook says the only submarine that has windows is Disney World on Captain Nemo's ship. We might want to ban him because Darren, the god of all things, has said that there are actual submarines that have windows for naval use. But no, that's the whole thing. I don't know why people are getting upset. They're just like, windows can't exist on... And I'm not saying it was Darren. I think it was people who don't... who aren't in the Navy or whatever, and they're just like, there's no windows. And I was like, well, there is, but I don't even think it's comparable. I think starships are different. Starships in the Trek universe are different than...
Well, I would argue just that as far as starship defenses is that starship defenses aren't based on hull armor anyway.
Right. Once you get past
based
the
on
shields,
shields. Yeah.
Yeah, once you get past the shields, it's all over.
Right.
And I mean, I agree with that.
Right. So whether you're talking about transparent aluminum or any kind of armor plating is irrelevant because it's no ships. We're not talking about Star Wars. No ships in Trek except for the Defiant that I'm aware of rely on armor plating for defense. Or not the Reliant, but the Defiant.
Right. Yeah, I mean
and the Enterprise NX-01.
I don't know if Chief Cook gets my humor, but Darren knows I'm giving him more of a hard time. Again, I agree with you. It was just on my follow-up video, because people, when we do follow-up videos, I generally try to address criticisms. And again, just the basic research I did showed that there were submarines. And I'd be interested. I would, and no joking aside, the research I showed is that there was some Cold War era.
Well, there you go. So Russian I would look up the NR1 then. That's the one that Darren mentioned.
Yeah. So there was a Cold War era Russian sub that apparently had windows, but the windows were like on top and they were used for when it was not submerged. But I don't know. Again, I don't have enough info. It's dumb. I don't know why we're in this fight. Why do you always get me in fights with your people?
Why are you always in fights? Oh yeah, the NR1 has windows right in the front. I'll show you.
It's the technical submarine he was talking about, though, right? The one.
There's
not a combat submarine, though, right?
There you go. It's an engineering testing platform.
Yeah.
Is what he called it. And see, there it is right there.
I mean, for the most part, the research I did, for the most part, it makes no sense for submarines to have windows. It's just even because apparently there is some alloys that work like glass. It's just one, it's not cost effective, and two, it just doesn't even make sense even with those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you liked the video, Darren. I saw that. I just, again, when I was looking it up, there were some that were with I mean, again, I don't know, man. It's like when you were doing the Star Wars and the Star Trek videos that you did. The research you do is some amazing stuff. Like I remember your Star Wars episode where you're looking at what happens to the human body when it enters into space.
Mm-hmm.
You also did an interesting one with how fast. I think you had like a truck and
well, like comparing hyperdrive and warp drive and stuff like that, or was it?
I thought you had it was like a truck and a starfighter and whatever, and they were going across.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway.
But yeah, I remember that, and just kind of comparing the different speeds, and it's funny because at faster than light, the Imperial ships are faster, but they have to pre-plot a course. They have to go through pre-established lanes of traffic and all that. Whereas a starship, while it's much slower at faster than light, can go in any direction at any time. But at slower than light speeds, impulse drive is many times faster than sublight.
Right.
And so, which is like crazy times faster from what we've seen. And so it's just magnitudes difference. And so, yeah, the contest would be over very quickly.
Right.
But yeah, so there we go. So what did we learn today? We learned that Lore hates women and likes windows on submarines.
Apparently, I think all windows existed on submarines too.
Yeah. And screen doors. Don't forget the screen doors.
Yeah, exactly. A port bow view of a Soviet Oscar-class nuclear-powered cruise submarine. There is clearly windows right there on it. A Soviet Oscar-class nuclear-powered cruise missile attack submarine.
Well, there you go.
Stay mad, Chief Cook. Stay mad. We haven't even gotten onto the DC stuff.
Well, we got to save something for next week, I guess.
Because
we're not going to have any lower decks to talk about. And when is it that Prodigy starts?
I don't know. We're going to talk about Prodigy. Are we really going to talk about
Prodigy? Well, we're not going to have lower decks anymore. And we got to have something to hold us over until we
Orville
get...
will be coming on.
Huh?
Orville will be coming on.
Orville's not till next March.
Okay. We could talk about how much we love it. The first episode date is in 2021 for Star Trek Prodigy.
Yeah, it's like this month.
It just says 2021. Is it this month?
Yes.
Doesn't say it.
Dummy. Let me look it up.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to get in a fight with Chief Cook. Hold on.
Oh.
Lord, do you know why submarines don't have windows? Because they will break on the pressure. Hold on. Are you saying that underwater there is
October
pressure?
28th.
There is pressure when you go underwater. So you have water pressure as an issue. Do you think maybe that's why they have sink depth or whatever, the crush depth, when they talk about that? I wonder if those two things are connected. Hold on, Michael. I'm trying to figure this out.
October 20th, and Joseph agrees with me.
The further down you go...
I'm not going to let you pick a fight with Chief Cook. Hey, Chief Cook literally just had a heart attack and had surgery and is recovering. I don't want you giving him another heart attack. I don't want you giving him another heart attack. All right? All right, so we have Prodigy comes out October 28th. All right, so the first week of November we get to talk about Prodigy.
Right. That makes Darren Wagner. Actually, joking aside, Darren Wagner made a good point too. For most of the areas where submarines operate, it wouldn't make sense to have windows since you can't see even with high-powered halogen. Well, and I think it would light you up like the 4th of July too, right? I mean, because I'd assume that once you get so far down, it's just complete darkness for all intents and purposes. And then if you have another submarine and there's a window with lights there, that would light you up like the 4th of July, wouldn't it? I mean, you're a Navy guy, aren't you?
Me?
No, you were Army.
Yeah, I was Army.
Oh.
By the way, and this makes no sense because only a couple of weeks later, on November 18th, is when Discovery Season 4 premieres.
You need heavy curtains to block the light. That's what they do. They pull heavy curtains. Yeah. So hold on. When is Discovery coming out?
November 18th. So just a couple of weeks after Prodigy.
Well, they do that. That's something Trek has started doing, where they have 2 shows and they skip each other.
What do you mean they skip each other?
Well, like they not skip each other, but they run in well, maybe they don't. They did that before though, where they had 2 series that ran together, so you could see more.
They only had 2 shows so far. They had Picard and Discovery. That's all they've had.
No, and Lower Decks was.
Oh, and Lower Decks, yeah. But
yeah,
Lower Decks. Who did they run at the same time?
Was it Picard and Discovery or Discovery and Lower Decks? 2 of them ran together. I can tell you that for sure.
Well, this time it's just been Lower Decks this whole run. During Discovery Season 3, it was just Discovery.
Is Ice Station Zebra a documentary that covers literally all of human history, including submarines? Because if it is, I'll go watch it. If it's not, I'm not.
What are you even talking about?
Talking to Chief Cook. I'm still fighting.
Stop fighting Chief Cook. Stop trying to give him a heart attack.
He told me to go watch Ice
I'm
Station
going
Zebra,
to punch you in the face.
Documentary that tells me everything there is ever to know about submarines, and I'll go. If it's not, then it's not something.
So November 18th, though, is going to be Discovery Season 4. So between now and October 28th, we have nothing to talk about except for the DC trailers and Dune, apparently. Which?
Oh yeah, we were supposed to. I need to watch that. I didn't watch the thing.
Dune comes out day after tomorrow.
Yeah, I haven't watched all the. That actually looks interesting. Joking aside, Chief Cook, I'm gonna put that down to watch because that actually looks interesting. And I had to research the director. Sorry. Yeah, you were asking if I was gonna watch that. Actually, I got roped into watching the new James Bond that's coming out. Maybe it's already been out, but I got roped into watching the new James Bond next week. Have you seen it? You like
Not
it,
yet, no. I do like the Daniel Craig Bond, but I refuse to go to the theaters.
Why?
Because I'm old and don't want to die.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you got your shot, you should be fine.
Well, tell that to Colin Powell.
Okay. Well, Colin Powell was like, did he have his shot?
Yes, he did. He was fully vaccinated, actually.
And he died of COVID?
Yep.
How old was Colin Powell?
I don't know, like 400 and something.
Wasn't he Republican? They're not allowed to get.
Yeah. And yes, I know he also had cancer and stuff, but he did have COVID.
So basically, you're doing the.
But I also have MS, so
you're doing the hospital way of determining how he died, I guess is what I'm.
So Sister says he was 86. Chief Cook says he was 81. He was old.
Apparently, Google says he's 84. So I mean,
well, there we go. He's in between 86 and 81.
We got that. Yeah, we nailed it. We got him. Why did how did he die?
I don't know. They just the only thing I heard on the news was complications from COVID, but.
Oh yeah, he dies from COVID being completely vaccinated. Well, that just means that the vaccinations don't work.
No, not. You know what? Don't start talking like that,
That's right.
please.
I can't even joke on YouTube.
Don't start talking like that. I really don't need the algorithm coming down on me.
Yeah, they literally will. Though, I told you about that. They're stupid when it comes to that.
Yeah, so please, don't say that. You need to retract that statement immediately.
Well, I was joking. I was obviously joking. I'm actually more looking at like the 3rd submarine that has a window on them, even though none of them have a window on them. Can't because, Darren Wagner, the god of all submarines, told me that they don't have it. Apparently, there's one in the Royal Navy that had a thing too. This is what gets the views, man.
Is you violating terms of service? Yeah, that's
Well, I haven't brought up the Californian we like talking about.
the Californian.
Yeah, the Californian.
Who's the Californian?
Took over Germany, wrote a book that was really popular.
Jesus.
What he's most known for is becoming a failing artist.
What is up with you?
What are you talking about?
Why don't you just put a big flag behind you with his symbol on it? You should seriously just hang that on the wall behind you.
Why would I do that? I'm not.
And
I'm not
start playing his theme music, and
I'm not from California. Why would I?
Start adopting an accent or something.
I don't.
Yeah, got the trains running on time. Great, there we go.
He's running on time. He did. Really a national hero when you think about it. I'm really confused. Hey, can you help me out here? Can you share that for me? I don't know what those things are right there.
I'm afraid to share anything.
Share it. I'm just trying to figure out what those things are.
I'm afraid of what that might be. That's not like those look like windows.
They can't be.
On the sail of a submarine. Yeah, those are windows on the...
Darren would not lie to me. Up is down. Down is up.
What are you talking about? Darren wouldn't lie to you. Did Darren say...
Darren said windows did not happen. We're not.
I thought Darren told you there were windows.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Chief Cook told me that there were no windows. Didn't happen.
Chief,
There's
please.
still windows
Chief,
on a submarine.
breathe. Chief, Laura's just a ranting madman. It's photoshopped. It's nothing.
I don't care if what they did.
It's just nothing. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. Laura doesn't know. Oops. Oh, don't know what happened. Laura, don't. Sorry. Don't know what happened. Oh, there he is.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Oh, Chief says that's a Russian sub.
I know, man. I love it. As I said, when it comes to that running for those goalposts, oh man, I love getting my cardio in, man.
Will you stop making fun of his health? The man had a heart attack.
I'm not making fun of his health. I'm making fun of
when
when I come on
a
your
joke goes too far. Enough is enough.
All right, Steve is telling you to knock it off.
No. First off, a joke doesn't go too far. A joke never goes too far.
Yeah, Steve, one thing you have to learn about lore is too far is just beginning for lore.
First off, they keep coming at me. I love how I'm the one that's the aggressor when they continue to talk about it in channel to me. Me responding about it is going too far. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that I went too far. When they constantly talked about it in chat and I responded and it went too far. I'm sorry I went out of my way to do the research, which is what I was told to do, and showed you a submarine that has a window. I'm sorry that I went too far. I apologize. I hope that, Mulvaney, from the bottom of my heart, you can forgive me. I love you. Are we going to talk about fandom, or are we going to end it?
I think we're going to end it before it goes too far. You already, man, the way you said I love you, that was just creepy, man.
Chief Cook's like, Darren, where are you? The funny thing is that I know I'm being hyperbolic with you guys. I do agree that most submarines don't have windows, and I don't think it makes sense mostly for submarines to have windows, especially when, like what Darren was saying, it'd be hard to see. It's easier for the enemy to see you. It would be too cost expensive to use materials that would be able to mimic the armor and yet still have windows. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I get it. I actually agree. That's the funny thing,
right?
For the most part. And all of it was because of people who weren't Darren and weren't Chief Cook, weren't educated, saying stupid stuff that I was just addressing, and I just didn't address it correctly, is what I'm getting from that.
And so this is why you see, if you want to see more crazy things, you subscribe to Lore Reloaded.
About being wrong, so that it gets you mad.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I was talking to Trek Yards at his 7th anniversary show. Lore started his channel by just reading Memory Alpha, right? And which got you a decent following, you know, got you up to like 20, 30 thousand.
I didn't only read Memory Alpha, but I did lean on it heavily. I will say that. I didn't only read it, though.
Oh, that's pretty much all you did.
I did not, but okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue on.
So is reading Memory Alpha, and okay, you were reading Memory Alpha and showing slideshows.
That's not all I did. Okay, whatever. You and Trek Yards can stay mad. That's fine.
I'm not bad. I'm not bad at all. I celebrate your success. But to push him to the next level, what pushed him ahead of Trek Yard, and this was I was advising Captain Foley and Commander Cockings to do this, because what, you know, they don't read Trek Yard, or Trek Yards doesn't read Memory Alpha, but what they do is, go out there and research these various ships, mostly because they're into the tech side of things, and report that stuff, just like you would research whatever Memory Alpha says and report that. And
whatever helps you sleep at night, brother.
Yeah, and that got you to a certain level, and it worked, and that was great. However, what pushed you to the next level, what got you ahead of them, and eventually catapulted you now to 100,000 subs, which I'm very proud of you for, is simple. You became the National Enquirer of the fandom.
I appreciate that, man.
And I love it. No, I absolutely love it. It's awesome. I mean, if I want to see the ultimate Star Trek conspiracy theory, like, you know what, Lorca is the best starship captain ever, right?
No. What I don't know that I agree it's National Enquirer, but I do.
Maybe the Midnight Star, right? What was the one that was
Midnight Star?
Then not the one with Bat Boy.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of Midnight Star.
You don't remember the Weird Al song? Oh, Midnight Star.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, that was a great song.
I'll have to watch it. Midnight Star, you said Weird Al?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've never heard that.
Yeah. He's the Art Bell of Star Trek. Yes. The Weekly World News. Thank you, April. Yes. So you're the Weekly World News. And so, you know, I love your content. I really do, because I love the fact that you come up with these outrageous things. You know, the bridge is a death trap.
It's a death trap.
See? You're like,
you look at it, it's a death trap.
You're like the person, I could just see it. You know, you're like, you're sitting there. You're the J. Jonah Jameson of some newspaper agency in the universe of Trek. And too many starship captains are dying. Find out why, Parker, and run a story. You know, that's what I see.
That makes me feel better. I'd rather be Jonah Jameson than the Enquirer. I don't know why that makes me feel better, but
it shouldn't, because the Daily Bugle is a tabloid.
It's like, look, a mentally disabled hero talking about Barclay. It's a puff piece. It makes people feel better about themselves. Benjamin Sisko's darkest secret exposed. That's letting the people know what's going on.
See, you're even defending
it. It's like I'd rather think of myself as the New York Times of this picture.
Well, so the fact that you think the New York Times is good journalism should.
I'll take the New York Times over the Enquirer.
I don't know. I mean,
Spock was responsible for the Wolf 359 tragedy, though. I bring it all together and show you that. The fact that I make good content makes you guys upset. I get it.
No, that's where you see you misinterpret me, Laura, because I don't. It doesn't make me mad. I do love the fact that you've been so successful. I think it's great. Because you know what I don't like? I don't like the fact that so many people on both sides of the equation have become so successful just by spewing anger and vitriol at mostly at each other. Right? You're not doing that. People can make fun of you all they want, but you know what you're not doing? You're not sitting there spewing hate at people. You may, you know, and you're fun to watch.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, man, I really sincerely believe that you make content on par or better with mine. I just
I, well, I
choosing to-
when I do, when I can,
Right.
but
Well, I thought your stuff was really great. Like I said, I mean, the only thing I've ever told you, and I get why you do it and everything, and you know it yourself because you say it, is like when you do the niche stuff, like the Star Wars videos, the Star Trek videos, really Star Wars, which is ironic. Um, People really like watching that, but when you go like out of your way to do like the church life on Sundays and stuff,
right,
YouTube just punishes you like
right.
without mercy. Um, but yeah, I think that I honestly do believe that specifically when you start doing those videos again, especially if you remake the ones you had, I think you'll start growing again, and I really can see your channel getting up with mine.
I
I
hope
sincerely
so.
believe it.
And I do plan, like, once we get the real thing right now is, obviously, we gotta get the house ready to sell. Once we get the house sold, we move, we get settled into the new place and all that, then I can focus on that and not have to be all stressed out over life.
Right.
And once we get to that place, then yeah, we'll be in a much better place. But
Right.
as far, and I get it with the church life thing, but
Oh, I wasn't putting you down or anything.
no,
was just
I
saying
know,
it's
I know
like-
you're not. And it pisses me off that companies like YouTube make a political stance about it. And I'm not trying to say, oh, religious persecution, because I know people, let me say this real quick. This is as political as I'm going to get on this live stream. People who think they're being persecuted in this country don't understand what persecution means. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just throw that out there. They do not understand what it means. People that are suffering from persecution are people like the people in various parts of the Middle East that get their heads lopped off for being openly Christian. That's persecution. All right. Not people who are demonetized for putting the wrong word in the title of their video. All right. That's not persecution. That is annoying, and it can be punishing and all that, but it is not persecution. Anyway, but I don't like that Google does do this political BS with their algorithm. I think it's wrong.
Well, there's two things to that. I think when it comes to your channel specifically, first is it's like you said, when you do church stuff, it's more likely to be demonetized, which they say isn't attached to how well it does, but the systems have the same criteria.
Right.
So they may not be linked, but they have the same criteria. The other thing is the way YouTube works too, is it sends out your video or your live stream to a certain segment of your, like, not everyone, just a certain segment. It sees how well that does and who wants to go see, and based on that, it'll send more or less likes or more or less alerts, which then just continues. So like if people come to watch like the Fat Overlords or they watch your Star Wars stuff and then they see the church life and they don't watch it, YouTube's not going to send it out to as many other people.
Right. And
that it just goes downhill.
Right. And honestly, the thing that bugs me about it is I think it should be, before Google purchased YouTube, it was pretty simple. If you subscribe to a channel, you got alerts. If you didn't subscribe to a channel, you didn't get alerts.
I like the bell, and I'll tell you why. It's if you subscribe to 800 people, 800 alerts could get...
oh, yeah, I get the bell. I like that. But I don't like the fact that, like, even now, I get more suggestions from random crap that I don't have any interest in than I get from my actual subscriptions.
Right.
And that I find really annoying, because it's like, hey, I didn't even realize that people who I'm subscribed to and check the bell for have posted 8 videos because it's buried in a sea of suggested videos.
Right. Yeah, by the way, Chief Cook said, well, 3 things. So first off, and I meant to say this before, but yeah, Chief Cook, if you had heart surgery and I actually get you revved up, then just let me know and we'll stop, because it's all joking. I mean what I say, but it's all just having fun. The other thing he said that I think Cisco should be in jail. I think you and I agree with that.
Yeah, we do agree with
Cisco-
that. Cisco committed war crimes when he gassed those planets.
Right, and he's done other stuff that I think should probably have him in jail. So I think you and I actually agree on that. Who's the captain who broke the most prime direct? Haven't they done? People have broken that down. And
I don't know.
Janeway?
That's a tough one. I haven't seen a breakdown of actually like counting how many times each captain's broken the prime directive. If I just had to guess off the top of my head, I would probably say Janeway.
It feels like Janeway probably.
Yeah, but I haven't actually sat down and tried to count. That would be a fun one to do. And you know what? That's one. I'll tell you what. Remind me, Chief Cook, after when you realize that I'm, like when I'm no longer at this location and I'm set up at my new place and everything. Remind me to go through a watch through of all the Trek shows, and we'll figure it out.
That'll be my next video. Why breaking the prime directive was the best option for all captain. Or something like that.
And
make it sexy.
Maybe Salty Trekker should start a van life channel and grow on another topic.
Do you know what a van tuber is?
No, what's a van tuber?
You've been hearing about Petito or whatever, right? And Brian Laundrie.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so van tubers, they get a van and they literally go and live in the van and they do the YouTube live and everything.
Okay.
It was
like
something that
using
always,
their cell phone or something.
Yeah, or they actually had full equipment on. You know, it's like
using like one of those streaming backpack type deals.
Yeah, or actual full on equipment. It's just like rich white kids who go in a van and it's like, oh, it's roughing it in the wild. And stuff.
Right.
And it actually got a lot of focus because a dude by the name of Brian Laundrie and his girlfriend or fiance or whatever, Petito, he apparently murdered her and then went on the run and they were a van tuber. So
did he continue to van tube while he was on the run?
He did, and they never got caught. It's really no, he actually there's a lot more to it. He's still on the run, but it became national news and everything. Are you ignoring chatters? We've been talking with you guys. What do you mean? Literally, he's been getting mad at me because I've been fighting both Darren and Chief Cook for like 15 minutes.
That's weird, though. I don't think I'll ever do that. So, yeah, don't count on me being a van tuber.
Well, it's interesting, and I could see why people might be curious about it. But honestly, it's mostly lies and stuff like that because living in a van is not a fun experience. But they always made it look like, oh, this is so great.
Right. It's like Facebook, where everybody always posts pictures of them having a great time.
Yeah. Twitch tubers did it a lot too, where they would live stream being in a van. And literally what they would have is they would, for Twitch, they'd have a 24-hour live stream just watching the van. People loved it, man. It's crazy.
Well, I will tell you this. So one thing I do plan on doing once we move and get settled in is we're going to take an annual road trip to California and Oregon. And that's because, huh?
Can you say the C word? We don't talk about 1940s Germany. Can we say the C word?
I have family in California and Oregon. And it's something I've been talking to some of my family out there. And it's like one of the things that, with my recent health issues, you come to realize at a certain point that, you know what, you need to stop putting off visiting your family. And so I'm not going to. I'm going to make it a priority that basically every year we're going to try to make a road trip that includes driving out to California, driving up to Oregon where my daughter lives, and then driving back to wherever we're living. And as the channel goes, depending on donations and all that, whatever we make on because our annual expenses and budget and stuff for our home will just be Social Security. Anything we get off the channel is going to go into that road trip to expand on that so that we can hopefully meet up with some of you guys, anybody in the United States at least, and eventually maybe Canada and stuff. And so, maybe dip a little further south, a little further north, stuff like that, and do little meetups here and there along the way. It won't be like, we're not going to like turn it into like a 6-month journey or anything, but we'll just do little overnighters at maybe 2 or 3 spots along the way to California, and then maybe 2 or 3 spots on the way back. And as time goes on, do different places and stuff as we do that. So that's kind of the long-term plan. And absolutely, yeah, Voodoo Donuts, you better believe we're going to be hitting Voodoo Donuts next summer.
I was going to ask if you're going to go to Alaska.
Do you remember Voodoo Donuts? You guys went to...
I do.
Yeah.
You took us.
Yeah,
The only time
yeah.
I ever went is when you guys...
Yeah, the cock and balls.
Yeah, we got the anatomically correct
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
So that's actually, for those of you that don't know, that's the name of a donut at Voodoo Donuts. I don't know if they still serve it. It's called the cock and balls. It's a anatomically correct male donut that's filled with custard. And
they also are licensed, and they're witch doctors.
He's an actual voodoo priest, and he'll do a marriage for you if you want. Yeah.
Which is where I plan to get married the next time I get married.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so.
But
just letting April know. Sorry.
Yeah, is April your fiance?
Yeah.
Does she know that yet?
She is unaware that she's my fiance, but yeah.
Oh, you should bring her on to let her know.
Well, she figured it out now, so could just call her up, be like, "Hey."
So bring her on. Let's see her.
No, we're fine.
Wow.
I'm not going to do that.
Jerk.
Don't worry.
Is that April V? Is that her?
Huh? Yes, it is April V. That's her.
Okay.
My fiance. Because
she says Oregon and California are great, so I doubt that would be her.
She's actually a Californian.
Really? So your fiance, your future fiance, is a Californian.
There were a lot of GIs that loved German women in the 1940s. I don't know why I can't love someone from California.
April, you're making a horrible mistake. You are making a horrible mistake. Run now.
You know the amount of times she's gotten that actual warning?
Probably a lot.
But yeah, so so are you going to go to Alaska too eventually, or no?
I'd like to. I haven't been up there in a long time.
Right.
And it's beautiful up there.
Well, isn't it cheap, and they pay you to live there too?
They do, actually. My sister gets a stipend from the state. Good question, by the way, me, as far as the 3D printers. Once we move, the plan is, assuming there's space for them, I'm going to set them up at a level that I can access them. The reason I can't do anything right now is I literally can't reach them. And since my health has declined, I can't access them regularly, and it's just too physically difficult for me. So I need to set them up so that I can have them at a level to where I can be sitting in a chair that's on wheels and be able to slide back and forth in front of them and access them without having to stand up and walk around, because that would be too physically difficult. But that is actually part of the plan. But the nice thing is, when we're moving into a new house, we can kind of plan all that out and put it together, as opposed to, trying to arrange things in a house that's already full of stuff.
Right. That's, I don't know that better, but medicine seems to be helping, doesn't it?
I wouldn't say it's helping. It's just kind of stopped things from getting too much worse. So that's a good thing.
Right.
But I will tell you, the last couple of weeks have been rough.
Because of the medicine?
No, not just, I think it is side effects of the medicine. I feel nauseous a lot, stuff like that. But it just kind of comes with the territory. And just kind of got to deal with it. Anyway, I do need to wrap it up, though, or else the wife is going to kill me.
I think we should see that on...
What, you want to see the wife kill me on the stream?
Then maybe she can help us... teach Chief Cook that there are actual submarines that have windows on them. Come at me, brother. Come at me.
April, run just run while you can. Nice to meet you, April.
You'll meet her in real life too.
Huh?
You'll meet her in real life.
I'm sure. Well, assuming maybe at your funeral or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or when she's running, she might pass by.
Yeah.
Or wave at you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming you can, actually, here's the thing, April, you don't have to be a world-class runner. You just have to be able to outrun lore. That's,
It's not hard to do either.
yeah.
So.
I can outrun them and I use a cane, so I'm pretty sure you can do it. All right. So, with that, don't forget movie night this week. We will be watching Star Trek 3 and Spock's Brain. So be there or not. And
It's a good pitch right there.
I know, isn't it?
There
It's
or
great.
don't.
Yeah. And boy, I can't wait till we get through this mess. It's been a rough patch, but I have a feeling that in a few months, once we get past these next few months, the next few years will be a whole lot easier. And that's what I'm looking forward to. In the meantime, thank you, Laura, once again for hanging out with me, because you've been a good friend. Although, April, run. Just run while you can, April.